names of Pod.
From Atlanta,
where you'll find the remains of a rebel base that has been deserted for some time.
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm rebel scum, but you can call me salty.
So let's talk about some stuff.
Yes!
Spoilers. You have been warned, spoilers. This will be dropping on Tuesday. It is Thursday night that we are recording. We have just seen The Last Jedi before most everybody else. Spoilers alert. You've been warned.
Big ass pack of spoilers.
That movie just fucking wrecked me.
I know. I'm not gonna lie. There was about 4 times where I got teary.
Oh, there was way more.
But there was like 10 times where I literally put my hands up and went, "Fuck yes!"
I gasped 3 or 4 times at least.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When Han's little thing, you were just like,
you know what that is, right? You've seen that.
It vaguely.
Okay.
Please.
Here is the story. In Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're gonna jump around a lot.
Oh, we're gonna jump around.
Okay. In Last Jedi, Luke goes on the Millennium Falcon, and he picks what looked like dice. Out of the cockpit. Now, the story behind that is you can see them in A New Hope. In A New Hope, Chewie, there's this kind of B-roll random shot before they take off out of Mos Eisley, and it's just Chewie getting prepped in the cockpit. He bangs his head on what look like dice. The reason those are there is because Harrison Ford played a character named Bob Falfa in American Graffiti for George Lucas.
Yeah.
Bob Falfa had a pair of dice hanging off his rear view mirror. And it was a little throwaway nod to that for George and Harrison. Okay?
Yeah.
And the fact that Rian Johnson used that as a fucking plot point.
Yeah. Well,
or at least a callback.
A callback that accentuated, because when I guess we're just gonna jump around. When Kylo Ren encountered them, it said volumes.
Yes. Because we forget, we got to remember, Kylo Ren may very well have grown up on the Millennium Falcon.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
or at least up to a point.
He must have played
on it because we know Han and Leia kind of separated at some point.
Right, but how old? It looked like he was late teenager.
Right.
When he's with Luke. So I think he would. I don't remember if they said how young he was when Luke took him, but I mean, he was a kid playing around on the Millennium Falcon.
Right.
And he absolutely knew what those were.
Yep.
So, holy crap. So the movie starts with freaking Poe Dameron as the biggest smartass in the universe.
Let's face it, kind of a cocky... does that remind you of somebody?
And like he upped the cocky and upped the dick.
Yeah.
A lot.
And what I really, really, really like is that when it became clear what the other admiral, Laura Dern's character, was doing with the transport ships, and Leia explained it to him, he was like, "Oh, yeah, that'll work." And it would have been so easy for like, "Oh my gosh, Poe, you were right." He wasn't right.
He wasn't right.
I mean, his idea could have worked, but that was the safer thing because Leia had information that he didn't have.
Right.
And that was a bit of writing that I just respected, because it's like it takes you all the way down to trite, bad writing alley, and instead of going into the alley, it jags to the left and goes, "Oh, you thought we were going to do that? We're not doing that."
Which is the definition of good writing.
That's good writing. I mean, and there was a number of let's talk about one of the biggest things that happened in the film.
Okay.
Leia's death. That, on one hand, I thought, "Oh my God, they're not even screwing around.
They are going to do it.
They are going to do it." And then something happens that doesn't happen in any other Star Wars film, she just kind of, in the vacuum of space, levitates herself inside.
She's a Skywalker. I mean,
and it's, let's face it, aside from just sensing things in Force Awakens, maybe the Force is awakening in her, because between Force Awakens and Last Jedi, obviously she's connected a lot more with the Force in this film.
Right. She knew the moment Han died. I mean, in Force Awakens.
But I mean, that's that, you know, someone could chalk that up to, well, she's a female, her empathy, she can sense these things. In this one, she had a number of badass moments.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, people tend to forget that, you know, Luke Skywalker is the most powerful Jedi in the universe.
Well, as he is the only Jedi.
Right, but he is exceedingly powerful.
Right.
Leia's his twin. She's every bit as powerful. She just didn't train as a Jedi because she didn't really, I guess she didn't go that path. She was a military general and she wanted to help the rebellion into the resistance, into, you know, trying to build a new republic. So, yeah, she's a badass. And
oh, yeah, definitely. But it's something that, as they showed her floating in space, I went, either Poe's going to show up and pull her out, kind of like a Star-Lord in the first Guardians, or she's actually going to die. I did not see the fact that she just, you know,
I think
levitated herself in. That's a little bit shaky for me.
My thought, I think real life messed up their plans, because I think with her dying, you know, we all expected
Carrie Fisher dying.
Carrie Fisher dying. We all expected Leia. They'll figure out a way to write her out. And in this, there was no. They didn't. They never foresaw that. So this was their fake out. Like, oh, we killed Han in the first movie. We're gonna kill Leia in this one. And it was like, oh, that's her. You know, her dramatic death scene in space. And then it was like, no, badass Jedi shit. So
yeah. Which I would be very curious to know if that fake out was written before or after Carrie Fisher's death. I'm guessing
no, it would have to be.
It would
before.
have to be, because they filmed it.
There's also so much more of her in the film. I mean, she does wake up. It had to have been a fake out.
That's true.
You know, as much as we like to believe, oh, you know, they wrote around it. No, it's
because that was. I mean, that wasn't CGI out there in space, and then they had her in the pod. So okay,
but I mean, she's in the last third of the movie.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was really happy to see. Again, we're just going to jump around. I was really happy to see Billie Lourd, her daughter, in a much bigger role, because she's in Force Awakens. She's in like one little scene as a little throwaway. You know, she's wearing the buns in her hair. That's cute.
Now, you know what freaked me out is that, you know what I recognized her from?
What?
The last season of American Horror Story.
Oh, is that what
she was in? That.
Oh, okay.
And good deal. I mean, she was the one that was working on the bridge with Poe Dameron. Am I correct? Yeah.
The blonde with the little
exactly.
Buns.
A little throwaway. It's like the buns have kind of elevated up and reduced in size.
And that's exactly how she wore them in Force Awakens.
So
too.
it's not the Cinnabons on the ear. It's the little Cinnabites on the top of your head. Well done.
Yep.
And she held her own just fine. Well, obviously, she's an actress. I mean, this isn't like, all right, we'll put her in the film because she's Carrie's. No, she's an actress.
She's an actress. She is also descended from Hollywood royalty, if you think about it. I mean,
Eddie
her
Fisher.
grandparents and Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds.
That's true.
So she's got it in her.
Oh, Debbie Reynolds.
But overall,
let's pull out. Give me a where do you place, at least at this viewing. Obviously, subsequent viewings and letting it soak in may change that. We're going to completely forget about the freaking prequels, because we know they're going to be at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Rogue One and the original trilogy and the two that have come out now. In other words, episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and Rogue One. Where are you placing Force Awakens in that list?
I was thinking about my list, my order that I would put them.
Okay.
Just yesterday, the day before, and for me, it goes. I'll go down my entire list, and I'll explain why.
Yeah.
For me, it's New Hope, mainly at the top, just because it was so iconic to me. I don't think it's the best movie, but it was so life-changing for me when it came out that it has to end up at the top of the list for me. So,
right. At that point, it's fresh. It's a new thing.
It was
and
so...
It came at the right time in your life. And
it had such an impact on me,
right.
you know.
Kind of like when I first watched St. Elmo's Fire.
Right.
I worked it in. I worked in St. Elmo's Fire into a
in.
Star Wars episode. I'm just that good.
Okay, so for me, it's New Hope.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it?
It's tough because right at this very moment, I want to say Last Jedi.
So do I.
Force Awakens, Rogue One. That's kind of a tie. It's kind of tough. And then Jedi, and then 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, 3, 2. Yeah. Phantom Menace.
Holiday special.
Pretty much. Oh God.
I have it sitting right there.
That's at 0 position.
Well, yeah, we're gonna watch it again.
I haven't been able to watch it all the way through. I go to the Boba Fett cartoon, and a few other things, and then I catch that lumpy. I'm just like, oh, just shut up.
So for you,
very similar to yours, A New Hope, for literally the same reason. I had the same experience sitting in the theater. I mean, it's one of the very, very, very few bonding moments I ever had with my father, because, you know, what do you want to do for your birthday? We went to Star Wars.
Right.
You want to go to Star Wars this weekend? Yes. Hey, Dad, can we go to Star Wars? Yeah.
Same with me. Yeah.
And it was just, you know, I must have seen it. I'm going to say, I want to say 10, but it was probably closer to 6 to 8 times in the theater, which was a big deal because my family did not go as a, you know, like, hey, family night at the theater. It didn't really happen. And if it did happen, it was because I browbeat them. And, you know, Robin Hood, you know, the Disney animated is back in the theater. I want to see this. And so obviously A New Hope at number 1, definitely Empire at number 2. I'm going to go ahead and put Last Jedi at 3.
Yeah.
Like I said, that could flip for me with Rogue One. Probably Force Awakens would be after Jedi. I liked Force Awakens.
Okay.
It was just, I'd seen it all before.
Okay.
And it didn't have that fresh new thing that Jedi did. And we talked about this, that they had to get back into the goodwill of the fans by saying, the bad man is gone. He can't hurt you anymore with his prequels. We're going to give you a little taste of what you've had before with some twists, get you back on board. And then in the next film, we're going to sucker punch you. The next episodic film.
Right.
But between Force Awakens and Last Jedi, we got Rogue One, which is an amazing film.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing the reshoots.
It's new and it's old at the same time.
Exactly.
It's everything we wanted to see, but it's a new story.
And the fact that it butted up right against New Hope.
Yeah.
Hit the sweet spot, because it basically it segged into pretty much everyone's favorite. I mean, for everybody, it's either Empire or A New Hope that are their favorite films.
Yeah.
That's the 1 and 2 spot almost consistently.
It's funny, man. There is a generation, there's a generation now who love the prequels.
And you know what? That is wonderful.
I get it. I understand.
No, exactly. Because there are certain films, bringing it back to St. Elmo's Fire, you see it at a certain time in your life when you you don't have as much experience in life or the world, or, you know, if you're 8 years old and you see The Phantom Menace, those pod racing scenes are blowing your mind.
Yeah, of course.
You're loving it. For me, it was the trenches on the Death Star in A New Hope.
It's the exact same thing.
I mean, I distinctly remember one showing where I asked because we had seen it so many times, I asked my dad, "Can I sit up front for the end?" And he went, "Okay." I was in the front row, where literally you have to look up at like a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
And those trench scenes, it made me feel like I was on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It visually,
totally.
It elicited some kind of a weird chemical reaction in my brain.
I forget who a friend's son or daughter, they were telling me that they like, I don't think they had even seen the movies, but they've seen the cartoons. They've seen like Clone Wars, and they love that stuff, and which is great.
Whatever your entry point is, you know, if Phantom Menace or the cartoons or whatever is your entry point to the Star Wars universe, if you like it enough to go further, then at some point later on, when you're older and when you've seen all the films, then you can assess what was. Oh my gosh! I mean, I like the cartoons. But the movies.
Yeah.
Or they might go, you know what, the movies are okay. I love the cartoons because that was their entry point, much like A New Hope was our entry point.
Exactly.
So moving beyond that, give me some broad strokes on Last Jedi.
The biggest thing, okay, the two things that I came away with right off the top, I was completely taken by surprise at how funny it was.
Oh yes.
How much humor he put into it.
And it was I don't want to say subtle, but it wasn't yuck.
Yeah, it wasn't the fart poop jokes in episode 1.
It
was
like clever. I mean, you know, the AT-ATs spend, I don't know, half an hour shooting at Luke, turns the sand into glass.
Yeah.
And do you think you got him?
Yeah.
You know?
Think you used enough dynamite there, Butch?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just the beginning of the movie when freaking Poe Dameron is being all badass and attacking a Star Destroyer head on, and then he hails the Star Destroyer. He hails the Star Destroyer. I have a message for General Hux, and Hux comes out and lays into this giant Shakespearean monologue of
"You shall feel the wrath of the First Order." Yeah, I'm holding for General Hux. Hux, you there?
I mean,
can you hear me?
That was like, oh, that's what this movie's gonna be.
Oh, and it was, but you know what? The comedy, if they had done a bit more, I would have been like, ooh, too much.
Yeah.
They kept Ryan kept the comedy, and the delivery was good. But even if there was a bit more comedy, there's so much gravitas in the other scenes.
Yes.
It balances it out.
And it made sense, too, because literally, I think Poe's, well, that's not his first, but in the first 5 minutes of Force Awakens, he gets thrown down by stormtroopers, and Kylo Ren is standing there, and he looks at Kylo Ren and he goes, "So who talks first? Do I talk first? How does this work?" And so that's his character. That's that guy. He's like the smartest.
And wasn't he supposed to die in that? I mean,
he absolutely was.
And everyone went, "Oh."
It's like, oh, we like him. He's
Oscar Isaac did I think an HBO miniseries about, I know, city council and housing in New York.
Okay.
That was a tour de force.
Yeah.
And people were going, this guy is good.
And he did that Coen Brothers movie Inside Llewyn Davis, where he's like a Bob Dylan-y type.
I have not seen that.
I haven't either.
But it's on the list.
Right.
So he's got the chops. Now, another actor that also has chops that was utterly wasted in Force Awakens and is utterly wasted here. Gwendolyn Christie as Captain Phasma.
Yeah.
I mean, good. We saw Captain Phasma again. If you're fighting, that cape's going to get in the way. Sure. Oh, look. The First Order / Empire can make armor that won't disintegrate the second a blaster hits it.
Supposedly, from what I've read, the canon is that it's made of either the actual or the same stuff as Amidala's ship in the prequels, that silver,
the Nubian,
whatever, exactly, that whatever that's made of. I'm sure it's got a name.
So maybe,
and it's like,
so maybe she got the standard issue and went, no. I'm gonna spring for the good stuff.
Well, she earned it evidently. There's a extended universe novel about her and everything. But
well, I tell you,
she got short shrift in both of these movies.
Her badassery in Force Awakens was at 0.
Yeah.
Take off turn off the deflector. Okay, but you won't get away with this. Like, okay, thanks. You turned it off. We don't really care.
And even in this one, I mean, she got to fight a little bit, but still, she should have whooped Finn's ass in 3 seconds, and like she didn't.
No, and remember, he has no formal training. Still doesn't.
Well, he does. He's a stormtrooper. I mean, he was a stormtrooper, so
Well,
he's trained as to fight as a kid.
Okay, that's right. That's right. He was a janitor. Then he got transferred
he's not a Jedi,
to a store.
no, but he knows how to fight with weapons. So.
Okay, all right. But she should have dispatched
laid him out
almost immediately.
Yeah, and that should have happened early in the movie, I think.
Yeah,
it was cool that she showed up at the end ish, but
and at the just before her. Remember, guys, spoilers, death, or we think it's her death. We get to see her eyeball, and then she falls into a fiery chasm.
Yeah. I mean, she's wearing armor, so who knows? Maybe she's okay. I imagine her coming back and taking the helmet off and being all jacked up on the side. I would be down with that.
Possibly. Totally. Let's talk for a second. Remember, folks, we're jumping all around the place.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much. It's like we've taken a hit of Star Wars cocaine, and we're just...
we are buzzing hard.
The reason why the ship was falling apart. Holy fucking shit. The way that was filmed
that moment
gave me, I gotta admit, I was hard. It was, I mean...
little too much information. But I don't disagree.
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
I was discernibly turgid in my mind.
Yeah, so going back, Admiral Holdo.
I think it's Holdo.
Laura Dern's
another
character.
Whatever name, but okay.
Yeah, Laura Dern's character, who is fighting with Poe the whole time Leia's laid up, and does have a plan, and
the plan that actually is better than Poe's.
Yeah,
but he thought he knew better.
Yeah, and she basically she's gonna stay on the capital ship and let the transports all go under the radar to a secret an old rebel base,
an abandoned, not Dantooine, but some other one.
Right. It was Crate, and the First Order figure it out and start picking off the ships left and right. Well, they get it from we got to talk about Benicio del Toro.
Well, we'll get to that. To that.
So basically, they get the information. They start picking off the transports, and Laura Dern basically,
after half an hour.
Well, she was planning on going down with the ship anyway.
Yeah, but
she was planning on going to run out of fuel and let them blow her up and think that it was all over and let everybody else escape. But that wasn't going to happen. So she swings a capital ship around, points it dead center, and hits hyperspace.
And goes to light speed. And I mean, as soon as she hits that button, they drop all the sound.
It was dead silent.
I mean, like space actually is.
Right.
And the way they shot it was beautiful.
Beautiful, and having no sound was inspired. It
cause there's no pew, there's
one of the best moments in any of the Star Wars movies.
There's no explosion that could have been better than that silence.
Yeah, the silence was unbelievable.
And the fact that as she turned around, it's like, what'd she do? And they knew it was coming. They knew
what she was doing, yeah.
And it's like, destroy that ship. Too late, bitch.
Yep.
Boom. That was that was more beautiful than getting the crashing the Star Destroyers together.
Absolutely.
In Rogue One.
Yeah.
I mean, that was beautiful.
That was cool. This was amazing.
This one was just Let's talk for a second about Rian Johnson's writing. There's a couple of scenes that were a little trite to me, but they fall in line with canon, so I'm like,
such as
basically we've got to get to the rebel base. Okay. We're attacking the stuff that's canon in the sense that this happens all the time. But they're the rebellion.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's not like they're going to have their own Star Destroyer or Death Star to go after the First Order.
No,
but they've
always had.
It's like it's a matter of time. The Death Star has cleared the planet. They're inside the big cave.
Was literally my only complaint. Was the whole thing was we've just gotta stay out of range of their guns for hours, and it was a little much for me. But literally, that's the only complaint I have in this whole movie.
Yeah, but the writing issues I had fall within the acceptable I guess, realm of Star Wars. You know, there was some stuff that you hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
That, you know, not a lot of levitating. No levitating. When have we had some levitating? Not much.
Of people?
Of people.
Not much.
Yeah.
A lot of jumping and moving.
Exactly.
Moving
So, let's talk about Snoke. He's just a guy.
He's just a guy.
Just a fucked up dude.
Yeah.
Who can really see into Kylo Ren's soul, and he knows.
Yeah.
He knows really well.
Yeah.
He knows so well that he joined the Darth Maul Sith of the Month Club. He's beside himself.
Yeah.
Cha.
Yeah, that was unexpected and amazing because he basically Snoke orders Kylo Ren to kill Rey, like to and take your place by my side, blah blah blah, the usual.
Never heard that before, but I mean that's probably Sith 101,
right? And he can read his mind, and he says, so he's going to turn the lightsaber on you, and Kylo Ren is turning the lightsaber on Rey, get ready to activate it, but he also turns Luke's lightsaber, which is sitting next to Snoke, and then he activates the other one.
Yep.
That was brilliant.
And puts it right through Snoke.
Right through Snoke.
Now, I knew what was going to happen about 5 seconds before it did because of what Snoke, before I saw the lightsaber move, the way Snoke was saying, kill your true enemy. It was very ambiguous, like, but I think that might have to do with the fact that if he was reading Kylo's mind and Kylo knew how to manipulate, I will now kill my true enemy
with my lightsaber,
and not thinking
with the lightsaber that I am turning,
right? Not thinking about Rey, not thinking about Snoke, just going my enemy.
Yep.
So it works for me. It was a little. But you know what?
But it worked.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It absolutely makes sense.
Well, because any other way, and people would be like, well, if he can read his mind, how could he know the blah 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 that he wasn't going to do that, and that was really well done.
Yeah, and that room.
That was cool. Big old red room.
I thought that platform in Blade Runner was a great room. I mean, I may change from a big reflecty wall to a big crimson red wall. Holy crap! That had to have been done digitally because man, that was just flawlessly lit.
Beautiful room. Yeah.
I mean, it's like it was painted with light. Mm-hmm. You couldn't, it was gorgeous. And the biggest fight, we really only had one lightsaber fight in the entire film, really. Yeah. And it was with, Crayola and company after Snoke gets killed.
Yeah, and it was Kylo Ren and Rey back to back.
And fighting together. This whole, they were, reaching out, touching each other.
And they did some cool moves. I mean, she dropping the lightsaber and then catching it again and taking the guys off and then throwing lightsabers to each other.
We didn't have any other serious lightsaber battles. I mean, yes, there was that little bit with Luke and Kylo at the end, but
we got to get into that too. But we'll get there.
We'll get there because that was pretty much a biggie. I want to go back to even before the film started.
Okay.
They did. I don't know if they're going to do this for this opening weekend or just for this opening night.
I think it was opening night. I think that's what he said.
They did about 5 to 7 minutes on John Williams and the music,
scoring the movies,
and I did not like that.
Why?
I was waiting for the beginning of the film to hear that fanfare, and they spoiled it in that preview. I don't want to hear that music until the film. They can do it, that was just my... Okay. I appreciated...
I see it, but...
I appreciated it, but when I heard that fanfare, I was like, I'm waiting for that moment. Okay. That's the Star Wars moment for me. Seeing the Star Wars logo and and they played it in that clip.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't like that.
All right.
So that was just, did you feel a little irritated by that or?
No, I can see your point, but it didn't bother me. It was nice to it was just ramping up to the movie, and I was like, come on.
I know. I know. After like 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is great. I'll watch it as the Blu-ray extra.
Yeah.
Get to the damn film.
But, that was kind of the thing. Oh, it was like extra content for paying the extra money for the tickets.
And you know what? If that's the only place that anyone could... I mean, they're probably going to put it on the Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine they're not going to.
But there was a little intro by Rian Johnson and, saying thank you for being super fans and, this is just for you guys. And that was cool. Unnecessary, but it was cool that they did that. Yeah, like I said, I've done some of the Fathom events. Like I did the Doctor Who 50th anniversary. And they did the same thing. They did like these little specially filmed pieces for the showing of the thing, which I'm sure ended up somewhere. But I did. I totally get it. It didn't bother me though. I was so just jazzed.
It's almost like listening to the greatest hits of the band you're in the car on the way to the concert of that band. It's like, why? Why would you do that to yourself? You know these songs.
Right.
Just hold
You're about
off.
to see them.
Yeah, listen to it on the way home. Totally makes sense. Don't listen to it on the way there.
Yep.
Let's talk about porgs.
I was going to make a joke on Facebook saying people are going to be really mad when Chewie starts eating porgs like popcorn. And son of a bitch, if Chewie wasn't eating a porg.
He never actually chomp into it.
He killed 2 of them, and he was roasting them over a fire.
So it's pretty much 90% of the way to, oh, dear God.
Yeah.
And the porgs were maybe a touch overused, but not as much as I was worried about.
Right.
I thought it was going to be another... irritating toy placement bullshit that was just going to drive me nuts. And it did okay.
It was that, more or less.
Oh, well, of course it was.
I have a completely deep, nerdy problem with the way they did the porgs.
Okay. Hit me.
My problem with the porgs, and this is singular to me, there were literally only 2 noises that the porgs made, and they used them a lot instead of varying it up. Like Chewbacca, there's Ben Burt did a zillion Wookiee noises.
Right.
There was like 2 noises, and they just kept using them over and over and over again. I would have liked variations on that.
But maybe that's the porgs.
I get that, but still, again, personal, weird sound designer, musician thing.
I understand that. They definitely do the doe eyes very well.
Yes.
And I have to say my favorite porg moment outside of please don't eat my father, my brother, my wife, who knows? I mean, they all look relatively the same. There definitely seem to be some older ones that you could tell a little bit.
Yep.
But who knows who Chewie was eating.
Yeah.
Aside from that, my favorite porg moment was the second time the porg in the Millennium Falcon was like, ah! And Chewie just brushed him right off the console.
Well, he needed something.
There was something right under the... Yeah, exactly. It's like the button that's going to do the thing that we need to do now to save ourselves is right under your butt, and you're freaking out doing your porg stuff. Get off me.
I said from the beginning, I was like... I was down with the minute I saw that trailer and I saw that shot of the porg in the cockpit with Chewie. I was like, okay, I'm in with the porgs because Chewie having a little porg buddy on his shoulder. I am so down with that.
Yeah. Chewie needs some aftercare.
They retconned and they fixed something very important in this movie.
What's that?
There was a kind of shooting mistake in Force Awakens that a lot of people got really upset about after I saw it myself.
Oh, yeah. Because when they
landed after Han died,
exactly,
you basically see Chewie just walk by Leia, and she goes and hugs Rey, and it was like,
what the hell?
What the hell? And JJ was like, it's just a mistake. I am so sorry. It wasn't intentional. It kind of got lost in the edit and everything.
Yeah.
And she gave him a great big hug in this movie, Chewie, and so I was very, very, very happy for that.
I mean, they didn't retcon Force Awakens. They just salved the wound.
Yeah, they made
Jedi.
up for it, like subtly enough, but
it's like she's hugging a girl that she's known less than a couple of weeks, maybe, if at all.
They just met.
Yeah, exactly. And she's known Chewie since she was a braless teenager in space.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
for years that's his brother, her brother-in-law, kind of.
Yeah. That's her walking carpet.
Yeah, exactly. exactly. So 3PO was 3PO in this movie. He was fun.
Yeah, they didn't, thank God, overuse 3PO.
They didn't overuse any of the droids. Like BB-8 did a lot, but he wasn't like they didn't overuse him. They didn't overuse R2. Like
they barely used R2.
R2 fucking wrecked me. There's a moment when Luke is walking around on the Falcon, like he's kind of, he's like, no, leave me alone, and he finally goes on the Falcon and he sees R2 and he's like, look, nothing you say is gonna make me go. And R2 played the fucking
help
You're
me,
my
Obi-Wan
only hope
Kenobi
hologram. I was like, of course, it's still in his memory. Of course. I was like, oh my god, that destroyed me.
That was one of my, shall we say, verklempt moments.
Oh man, I was through that through the whole movie.
I was just like, oh man.
Yeah. They did, again, not to jump around, they at the end,
not to jump around like we are.
At the very end, they had in loving memory of our princess, Carrie
yes.
Fisher. I was like, thank you. I mean, I knew they would, but that was,
of course,
that was perfect.
Of course.
But that was like, but going back to the droids, they didn't overuse any of them.
No, and one droid that held a lot of promise, they didn't hardly use at all. BB-8.
Yeah, BB-9E, I think.
Is whatever. BB-9E, I don't know. Whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, I see some potential there, but he just kind of seemed like a dick that called the...
He was an Imperial droid, and he kind of rats him out, and that was all right.
It's okay. It's not too bad. Now, BB-8 in that shell knocking over everything.
That was funny. They just basically put a trash can over him and let him roll around. He couldn't see too well, so he was just banging in the shell.
Yeah. And when he was fixing the weapon system on Poe's X-wing at the top of the movie, I never knew he had so many appendages that could come out.
I guess so.
And at a certain point,
he's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, at a certain point, he just went, screw it, pulled them all out, and just shoved his head into it to
basically to the fuse
create.
panel.
I think it was like create a circuit to get power to everything or whatever
to his weapon system.
And that was nice.
That was
I appreciated that.
But that was about it. They didn't overuse the droids at all, which is cool. It wasn't about that,
Well, now when we get to episode 9, the only OG characters we have left are Leia, and human is just Leia, and then we have 3PO and R2.
Well, here's the thing, though. You forget.
Yes, I know. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's get into the Luke of it all.
Luke,
I was so happy to see Mark Hamill in this movie.
Yeah. He did very well as the cranky. I mean, he must be only like in his mid-50s. He's not that old.
No, he's pushing 60. He said he's the same age as Alec Guinness was in.
No.
Yeah, that's what he said.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's well. You know what? Alec Guinness did live like another 20 years after Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, or something like that.
Another 10, 15, something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was like 60, and I think Mark Hamill's about 60.
He acquitted himself just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. It's been a long time since he's done any on-camera. A serious, beefy on-camera.
Right.
I'm sure he's done some acting that wasn't voice work.
Not much, but he has. Yeah.
I'm sure he's done something.
Right, but the bulk of what he does now is
voice work, which he does flawlessly.
Yeah, and it's mostly comedy. I mean, he is the Joker.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
He is absolutely the Joker, but he does dozens of characters all the time, but it's cartoon stuff. It's mainly light comedy, and to go not only revisit this character, but to alter and elevate
gravitas.
What Luke Skywalker
I mean, I'm not saying he's going to get an Oscar nom for Best Actor. I'm saying that expectations were, it's Mark Hamill, he's doing Luke Skywalker, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I turned out thinking, wow, it was fine. It was more than fine.
It was great.
It did very well. While the film was happening, when they're inside the fortified base at the end, and all of a sudden Luke shows up in silhouette, I went, this is some of the corniest horror. I mean, this Ryan, you messed up, buddy. what did he just beam in there? Do we have do we have Star Trek technology?
Yep.
Did he find another way in? I mean, what a load of crap. And then he goes out.
Well, he says he sits with Leia and has a moment and says, which that I was weeping.
Together.
To see them together, even for that scene, was gorgeous. And they had a couple of jokes in there. I changed my hair, right? And he said, I gotta go deal with him, And so Luke,
and that was another thing that I thought was very strange. Well, not strange, just I don't know, heartbreaking / really? Leia admitted her son is gone.
Yeah.
There's just no redemption for him. Ouch.
Yeah, that's hard.
That is, I mean, I know of mothers that kids have, hit them, stolen from them because of drugs or whatever, just been just a nightmare where, any person that wasn't family would have shot them.
Yeah.
And the fact that, mother will I'll stand by you. It's your 10th time in jail. I'll be here when you get out.
Yeah.
And to get to a point where you just, tell your brother he's gone.
Yeah.
There's nothing. And that was important because of what was about to happen. She was, he was going to go out to battle Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And this was, this is the first time that Luke and Leia had been together since the temple situation.
As far as we know.
And he ran away. There may have been some time between
I'm sure there was,
the temple, but basically he
after the
departed.
temple, after his new Jedi Academy or whatever, after that burns, that's when he just took off, when he left.
Yeah.
And she probably hasn't seen him. They are not very clear on how long time that was.
Yeah.
Like in between, but I mean it's several years at least.
Right. So because we say in the flashback he does look a tad younger, but
not much.
Not much. I mean, obviously not, because he filmed it for this.
Well, yes.
So yeah, but the fact that she was able to let him go and say, "Yeah, go do what you have to do." She didn't say go kill him. Right. Just, I'm not going to tell you to not go out there and do what you need to do. So
and the First Order basically finally blows a hole in the giant door.
Yeah.
And out through the fire walks Luke fucking Skywalker.
And there and the First Order was about ready to rush in, and Kylo Ren goes,
"No.
Stop.
Shoot every weapon we have at that man."
And then another bit of the comedy. I love this one. He's irrelevant. We should go in. And he just throws Hux across the room.
Hux is a whipping boy.
He's a toady. He's a bootlicking toady
who thinks he's...
in one moment, and then he thinks that he's, second to Snoke.
Right.
I mean, he thought that he might have a chance at being, if not supreme leader, then autonomous.
Well, he was going to take over, but Ren is like, no,
that's not going to happen. I've got force choking powers. Yeah, so what do you got?
He chokes him and he beats him and he throws him, and so they shoot everything they have at Luke for quite a while.
I think that's what took the film from 2 hours to 2.5 hours.
Right, was how many times they shoot.
Do you think you got him? And the smoke clears,
and there's Luke.
And there's Luke standing amongst, the molten glass that the desert floor, which, by the way, we'll get to in a second because I got thoughts there.
Okay.
And so, Kylo Ren goes, all right, we'll go down. We're going to have ourselves a little fight.
You missed a little bit of comedy, though, because Kylo, like, is staring at him. Luke basically just brushes off his shoulder.
I mean, he just basically, that's a Jay-Z move. That's dirt off your shoulder.
Yeah.
Obama did that. I mean, that's a
what else you got?
That to me just kind of like, all right, that's funny, but now you're going into...
Yeah, there was they got a little bit out of Star Wars at points.
Yeah, because I understand, saying Godspeed and other stuff. I mean, it's very 21st century Earth. But when you start brushing off shoulder and you're going, that's a Jay-Z thing. That kind of has.
It was a great moment,
but it was so great.
Such a great moment.
I mean, personally, if I was directing that, I probably would have done a head tilt and a kind of an eyebrow raise that went, and But all right, brush the shoulder, not fine.
It's basically the same thing Neo does in the Matrix. You know, the waving, come on, bring it,
bring it.
Yeah.
So Kylo Ren,
Kylo Ren says,
pops down there, and they have themselves a little lightsaber fight. And
it's, if you notice,
yeah.
So the two things I noticed immediately was, Luke is doing basically Aikido, and he's just stepping out of the way.
Yeah.
He's not making contact. He's not attacking.
Right.
And I was like, that's kind of cool that he's just doing that. But I also was like, that's his old lightsaber. That was just ripped apart by, wow, I guess he made a second one. Because I noticed that right away. I was like, I know that lightsaber, and that's the old one, but that they just ripped it. Okay, I guess he brought another one.
Yeah,
And then the best fucking part of this entire movie for me was the next moment.
The next moment when they meet face to face in close quarters, and he runs the lightsaber, slices him in half. I went, oh my God, he's gonna join the sliced up Jedi club.
Yep.
And then Kylo Ren turns around, and he's standing right there,
he's fine.
Totally intact. I went, what? This is some Jedi magic?
And then he steps up and pokes him right through the chest with the lightsaber. And then cut to Luke, like grizzled Luke, back on the island,
he's back
meditating
on the island, and levitating
and force projecting himself,
which is a new thing for this film.
Yeah,
we've got it with Kylo and Rey.
Yeah,
and that ocean spray got on. I mean, it was.
Yep.
Maybe it was like a tesseract, and they were folding time.
It's just a force thing.
It's a force thing, baby.
Yeah,
you wouldn't understand. And he runs the lightsaber through him, and I can't remember exactly what happened, what was said after that, but Luke, peaced out with, see you around, kid.
Yeah.
And then he just
vanished.
And I went, oh, it's awesome. Luke is safe. He's back on the island.
Yeah.
And then I went, oh, is this kind of like a Freddy Krueger thing where if you die in your dream / force projection, you actually die? And they went back to the island. He obviously had exerted himself, and I expected that.
Yeah.
He really. And then I was expecting the camera to tilt down to show that, the lightsaber had gone through him.
Yeah, I never
and
thought
I
of
thought,
that.
okay, and it didn't. And then we see him in a gorgeous shot through like an opening in the rock.
Two suns.
Where he just vanished, and his cloak just kind of blew off in the wind. No longer tethered to earthly remains.
I've been saying since the last movie, I was like, they're not going to kill Luke Skywalker. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
They didn't.
Well,
he did.
They like I said, they're not just going to make these movies to kill off the old characters. That's not what they're doing. But the way they did it was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the way he should go out.
And now, who's to say that he won't be in Episode 9?
Unlike Han Solo.
Well, he wasn't trained in the Force.
But right, so I mean, unlike Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, I almost guarantee he'll be back as a Force ghost.
Well, let's talk about the return of another Force ghost.
I said there were 3 moments that made me gasp out loud.
As soon as you saw the back of the head and those ears, you're like, motherfucker, it's Yoda.
Oh my God. I was blown away. Frank fucking Oz came back.
He came back.
He came back. Like I said, he's come back and done it in the cartoons. He's done the voice.
Right. But at any point, he could have said, I'm retired, dude.
I'm retired.
I'm going to Sean Connery this shit.
He is retired. From what I understand, he is retired.
But with a special clause for
things.
And I'm wondering maybe if they didn't, write in that just to get a little Frank Oz action. Now, obviously, Yoda's return as a Force ghost in Last Jedi was important because he had something to do.
Yeah.
He blew up the freaking tree with all the text. Page turners, they were not. Holy shit. And he's giggling. I mean, he's having a lot of fun in the afterlife or in the next level of existence.
Yeah.
He is having fun.
Yeah.
And they didn't use him too much.
No, it was perfect.
It was perfect. One thing I was expecting to happen, I knew Luke was going to leave the island, and I think they fucked with us. Remember earlier on in the film, we saw an X-wing submerged just off the island where you could see it.
I was expecting
they're gonna call back, and he's gonna raise it. And then when Yoda showed up, I said, "This is it. Yoda's gonna convince him to leave. He's gonna raise the X-wing, and he's gonna be gone."
What I thought was gonna happen was a flip of New Hope, where the Falcon was going to be in trouble and the X-Wing was going to come out of nowhere and save their ass. Yahoo, you're all clear.
Let's
kid,
blow this thing and go home.
And they didn't, which was fine. The way they did it was way better. But yeah, just seeing the X-Wing under the water was like, just.
Well, now we know
so
how
many
he took an X-Wing.
That's his ship.
Yeah,
that's what he his loner little ship.
Thank God he didn't have R2 in the back and just left him there. That would have been
he went without him.
Like really? Thank God. Well, when you think about it. Why do you have to have a sentient droid back there? Don't they have enough technology to? I mean, obviously, if they can drop down and fix things, that helps.
It's more of a bigger computer,
Right, and it's a plot device. You have a back and forth. R2, I need more. Give me all you got. Right. It's it adds tension. I understand that.
I get it. Yeah, but oh man,
Yoda, my man. Now the planet. What do you say? It's called
Crate.
Crate.
Yeah. That's Krayt.
Oh, good. Okay, so at least it looks
That's
on
Crate.
Yeah, at least it looks on paper cool and Star Warsy and not stupid like
it's a binary system with the planet Barrel, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God. No, boo. Bad jokes are my job, Bauman.
Come
on. That planet
that was gorgeous.
Was designed perfectly for the battle that happened because what did they call them? Skim Raiders?
I guess.
I can't remember. They had a name, and I said, why would they call them? And the fact that it dragged down like that, and
a little hydrofoil or whatever,
and just had that red
on the salt flats.
Oh,
it was beautiful.
It was gorgeous. It was a deep. It was Snoke's. Chamber red.
Yeah, there was a lot of red in this movie, and in the marketing too.
And well, of course, and the logo, very red.
Yeah.
Now, not at the beginning because it was they didn't fuck with it. It's the traditional yellow Star Wars. It's the crawl. It's the same tech. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it the old way and filmed it while scrolling something and didn't do it digitally. It looked very old school, or at least they digitally made it to look just like. Yeah. All the other ones, which is important. Which is important. But just the cinematography, the art direction of that's going to get some awards. It needs to.
Of course. They always win.
Beautiful.
When the shit last year, when the logo dropped, everyone was like, oh my God, it's they've never done a red logo. Return of the Jedi, they did a red logo as well.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. I saw some artwork from it. I said, "Oh wow, yeah, I guess they did." But the whole marketing campaign was everybody wearing red, so there's just a lot of red in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's one of the genius things you can do with marketing. You can do subtle things that get people talking. If you're talking about the color of things, you're talking about the film.
Yeah,
doesn't make any. Right. There's nowhere to go with it. Just like, oh wow. Of course, let's face it. With Star Wars, it could be almost nothing in the trailer, and people will be talking about it because it's Star Wars.
Of course.
Let's chat about Rey's Darth Vader Darkside Cave, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yep.
That was interesting.
That was really weird for a Star Wars movie.
That kind of went into a whole nother place. Yeah. And I remember when she, was approaching the hole, I'm going, is she going to jump down there? She got pulled down there.
Yeah.
Something pulled. And keep in mind, this is the original Jedi temple. So obviously, the light and the dark, Jedi's up on the hill, the darkness underneath, And that crystal wall that they did a little, Simple Minds, everything she said video thing where it just repeats over and over and over.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I really thought we were going to get the revelation of Rey's parents in that.
I thought it was going to be a fake out, and it was going to coalesce into Luke, and he was going to pull her out of there, and you're going to be like, wait, does that mean he's her father? Blah 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 blah. So that's what I was expecting, but it wasn't. It was just
just her.
Just her.
It was just a weird thing. Now, fast forward a bit further in the film, we do find out who Rey's parents were,
which makes me so happy.
Thank you. They were nobody.
Yeah.
Just, what do they say? Poor dirt farmers? Junk farmers, whatever. They were nobody.
Sold her for drinking money.
Exactly. And you know what? That's far more likely than you're the secret princess of all, bullshit. It's like everyone who goes through past life regression. Oh my gosh, I was Queen Victoria. No, you weren't.
You were a dirt farmer.
You were a dirt farmer living in an autonomous collective.
Sort of executive officer for the week.
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone who regresses, it seems to think that they were, if not a famous person, they were caught up in events that were, everybody. And no.
Force wielders are from all over the galaxy.
Exactly. I kind of look at it as people who are in tune with the Force is kind of like in our society or in, present day Earth or Earth entirely, some people are born left-handed. It's, some people are born gay. Some people are born redhead. It's not what most people are, but it happens and it's fine. That's the Force thing. Oh, wow. This one was born with a sensitivity for the Force. This one was not. It just happens.
I have an innate ability to play music.
Right.
And other people don't.
And other people don't. I can wiggle my ears very well.
Right.
A lot of people can't do that.
It's just a thing that, and that's all it is.
Exactly. And it's, I thank God when she was asking about the Force and all that other stuff. Another bit of comedy. He's just, the magic, the thing. No, and slaps her in I can feel it. I'm reaching out.
Yeah. Could you feel it?
I mean, he's kind of a salty old shit.
Yeah, and that was, he was really
But the
funny.
one word he did not utter that made me happier than I was expecting it, and he didn't say it.
What?
Midi-fucking-chlorians.
No, those don't exist anymore.
Thank God.
The only thing I think would have been cool, because I was thinking kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It would have been great if he said something to the fact of, ancient Jedi believed that there was some connection between us and organisms, but it's not that, just completely wipe it out. Like,
just say
it was an old theory that the Jedi had that was wrong. See, that would be kick in the balls.
The problem is that I've tested his blood, his midichlorian count. So apparently, it's not only a thing that is known, but a thing that is observable and testable.
Yeah, still
detestable, in my opinion. God, Luke. He keeps hurting me in my brain.
Not anymore. You can't hurt you.
I know.
Okay, so I said at the beginning there were two things that surprised me.
Yes.
I said the most fun, funny, jokey movie. The other thing, I'm watching the end of this movie going, there's a huge fundamental problem with this movie. This should have been the end of the third movie. Where the fuck do you go from here? Like, this could have been a perfect end to the trilogy, in my opinion. Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, you have, you've still got Kylo Ren, you still got the First Order,
right? But,
will you live to fight another day? That could have been a good outpoint. Where the fuck do you go from here, other than just blowing more shit up?
And the fact is that they probably, generally arced out these three films. And the third film, Episode 9, was supposed to be Carrie's film.
Yeah.
And it ain't.
It ain't.
And now all you have left, an original character that is alive, but the actress is not.
Yes.
You're not, if Episode 9 is a Abbott and Costello C-3PO R2 film, I'm gonna hate life.
Yeah. No. Well,
they're not going to do it.
No, I think that's why they kind of set up Poe as kind of the de facto leader. You know, that was a great line too.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, what are you doing? Follow him.
Follow him.
Yeah. That was great. That was so great. So I think that might have been that's kind of their out. That solves a lot of problems.
Right. Well, they're slowly culling the field, for lack of a better term. The original Star Wars, they're narrowing it down so that we have to, I mean, obviously we're going to have the death of Princess Leia in episode 9. We have to.
It has to be addressed somehow.
They have to tie. I mean, they're not just going to say, and Leia's fighting on this planet while we're doing this, and then leave it. No. They have to address it in somehow, and maybe they'll use some outtakes from 7 and 8.
They could wrap it up in the crawl, man. They could, Luke Skywalker's
that's
gone.
Possible.
General Leia was taken, blah blah blah, and
that's possible.
And start the movie with them being in even worse shape than they are at the end.
Well, I mean, at the end, what are they like?
There's like
24 people, maybe.
Well, at that particular point.
and some creepy fucking
some outliers,
foxes.
Yeah, those
with
are
silver
cool.
crystals.
Yeah, So who knows? Like it's kind of JJ and Ryan and Kathleen Kennedy's problem.
God, after seeing this, I don't want JJ back. I want Ryan again.
He'll be
if he writes on it, then that's great. Because JJ was executive producer on this.
Right. JJ said. When he read the script, he was like, "God, I wish I had directed this." And I'm
wondering why Ryan Johnson is not doing it.
It's a good question.
Maybe their modus operandi was we want to have a different director for each one, and then with Carrie's death, and maybe they said let's bring JJ. I don't know what they're thinking.
They should write it together. I think.
Yeah.
They should write it together, and I mean, let JJ direct it, but let Ryan Johnson co-write it for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
because he's got some writing chops.
Fuck, he nailed it.
As long as one person in particular does not write anything anywhere near it, the bad man. I mean, I'm sorry, George. You know what? You are a genius, even though you rip off pretty much everything in Star Wars from something else. John Carter of Mars is a huge ripoff. Huge ripoff in the prequels. Kurosawa, I mean, but he admits to it. He borrows from other... Yeah. And you know what? Someone who does cut and paste... one of my friends is Steve Stein, otherwise known as Steinsky. And he is the OG cut and paste artist from New York in the 70s and early 80s. And he doesn't create any original music. He creates something from other people's music. And it's genius. He's the originator of what Girl Talk does. And that is an art form. It is an art form. Yeah. So I'm not going to...
Look, here's the thing. I mean, you go down deep enough. I mean, there are only 8 notes in music, and there's only 12 keys. I mean, there's a 3-chord rock song. There's a billion of them.
Right.
Everything's got to kind of be based on something else. Having a completely original idea is
or at least
impossible.
Remind you of something else.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I understand. I understand. That.
Kurosawa, I'm sure, was taken from old Japanese mythos.
Entirely. Well, hell, in the case of Ron, it's freaking Hamlet.
Yeah, exactly.
He did it, as a Shogun, Hamlet.
Right. So see, it all goes.
It's
But I agree. Yeah.
But
no, George is out. They
and thank you for your service.
Yeah. It's in good hands.
Now it's...
What's the thing? He wasn't doing anything with it. It was sitting there. And, I was like, they're selling it to fucking Disney? And we're 1, 2, 3 movies in.
Yeah.
A whole other cartoon series, and, no signs of stopping at all.
Oh, gosh, no.
2 more movies, definite, a handful of other ones, kind of...
My question is, once... The release that we know about is going to be Han Solo standalone.
Yep, Solo.
I think I think they're calling it Solo, a Star Wars film.
Story, yeah.
A Star Wars story.
Yep.
Fine. And then we're going to get episode 9. And then theoretically, it's 90% official. We're going to get a young Obi-Wan film. Which I think is a big mistake. You need to do Darth Vader while James Earl Jones is still alive. That's just my opinion. I have no problem with a young Obi. I'm sure there's tons of good stuff that we can do.
Well, it's not young Obi. It's going to be hopefully Ewan McGregor. Hopefully it'll be Ewan McGregor, like old Obi-Wan, like in between, before, like...
Oh, between episode 4 and 5.
Yeah, we have an old Obi-Wan.
No, 3 and 4.
Yeah, we have an old Obi-Wan movie. It's episode 1.
It's called, episode 4.
No, episode 1, when Obi-Wan is a kid, he's a Padawan, and he learned.
You said young. You said
young Obi-Wan.
We have young Obi-Wan. I guess we got middle aged.
Yeah, we need like I've been
Ewan
saying.
McGregor's what, like mid 40s now,
right?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's pushing 50, and he's like he even said, "It's like I'm the perfect age to be doing this because I'm right in that sweet spot before I get to be Alec Guinness old and myself younger."
Yeah.
And, I've been saying there's no way he just sat on fucking Tatooine the whole time. He's still in contact with Bail Organa, and we know that for sure, or at least for a while. There's got to be shit to do on Tatooine, but I'm sure he
probably went off planet. I have no doubt about that.
He knows how to get off planet.
And let's face it, in the prequels, I'm going to say that him and perhaps Natalie Portman to some degree were the only good things acting wise in them.
Him and Ian McDiarmid as
of course, yes.
And I mean Liam Neeson as well. I thought he was really good.
Yeah.
He did his thing. He was there for a reason, and to motivate, to move Obi-Wan on. But yeah, he was one of the great things, so much so that the actor who does the voices in the Clone Wars and Rebels and everything copped his total style. He doesn't sound like Alec Guinness. He sounds like Ewan McGregor, and they made him look like Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
And it's like he's the guy. It's like it's a really fortunate time.
Well, I'll tell you, if they get Ewan McGregor to do the Obi-Wan standalone, I will be very happy with that. It will tie back to the prequels.
But it'll also tie back to
tie back to one of the best parts of the prequels.
Yeah, him.
Because he did fine. I mean, obviously, you can only do so much with such just dreadful dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Natalie Portman, I don't think I've ever seen her give a bad performance, even when she's saying terrible lines like, "Hold me like you did by the lake on Naboo."
Yeah.
She was asked about that. And she goes, "Hey, it's not Shakespeare." I'm like, yeah, I know. You know what else is not Shakespeare? Everything that's not Shakespeare. So that's a cop-out.
Yep.
What else we got?
We
much.
Covered most of it.
I mean, the Laura Dern threw me out of the film.
Really?
But just because she's Laura Dern. I'm like, I wasn't expecting, like, oh, there's Laura Dern. And that immediately takes me out of the film for a moment. I got sucked right back in, obviously. And
I knew she was in it. I mean,
did you? Okay.
Oh yeah, I knew her and Benicio del Toro.
I knew Del Toro was going to be in it. Let's talk about his character for a second.
Okay.
I honestly thought that at the end, when the AT-AT started firing, I went, okay, he's going to be one of those characters, kind of a Han Solo, like, I want money, but no, he was just a dick the whole way through.
He's what they call it's kind of neat because in the Star Wars, there's a role-playing game a la Dungeons & Dragons that's been around forever.
Right.
And there's different character classes. I don't think you could be a Jedi, but you could be a smuggler or an Imperial or blah, blah, blah. And one of the character
classes... Can you be a scruffy-looking nerf herder?
Probably, yeah.
Ooh.
One of the classes was called a slicer, which is basically a hacker. A computer hacker. And I was like... And one of the articles was like, oh, yeah, he plays a slicer. I was like, wow, they brought that in. That's so cool.
Nice.
And he was. They brought in a slicer, and you actually got to see him do his thing, and it was very cool. But it was a great, perfect character arc. Like, you want me to do a thing? Okay, pay me. Oh, so they're going to pay me more? Oh, yeah, I'll roll over on you. I have no...
Or they're going to pay me now.
Now, yeah.
And
more.
And you've been caught. I have a feeling that if they hadn't been caught, he would have been like, fine, whatever. Back to the rebels, give me my money. But since they got caught, he goes, I can give you some really interesting information if I get my money now.
Yeah, and don't kill me.
Yeah.
Or arrest me or whatever.
And they did. That's what I thought was strange, that he had his payment and they were like letting him go. I'm like, he just hacked into your ship. I'm sorry.
But he also turned over to high-level resistance fighters.
Right, exactly. But once they have everything they needed, if I was an evil First Order guy, I'd be like, oh, we got everything we need? Oh, there's all that money? I think I'll be keeping that. Pew, you're dead. Done.
Yeah, I was real happy, though, that it was just like, yeah, I'm going to sell you out and bye.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was like, nice. Very well.
And then the, I guess for lack of a better, the ATST, the little one. I mean,
yeah,
because it's not AT-AT. This has been established.
Yeah, it's the ATST. Yeah,
it's AT-AT.
Yes, but the ATST, the Scout Walkers.
Yeah, Scout Walker. I would call it that.
That's what they're called. Yeah.
ATST just it catches in my throat.
Right.
So the Scout Walker, pew pew pew. I thought it was going to be him. It's BB-8 saving the day again. A little trite, but you know what?
Not too bad. Yeah,
nice. Because you think, yeah. All up to that
point, where the hell has he been?
Where is he? Is he still trapped in that box?
Yeah, or did they sell? Yeah, did Benicio give him up? And
who knows? But
he didn't. He just rolled around.
What I want to know is how did he get up there? It's not like he can roll up.
He's got the little grappling hook.
That's true. Yeah, okay. He's got some chops.
Yeah, they said he's a Swiss Army knife. They said that was like one of the best things in the design was that he could. They're like, we don't know what all those panels do, and they can use when the little panel opens, if they need something, there it is.
Kind of like R2, all these powers that he has and doesn't have, and then we've talked about that.
Yep.
So, any other closing thoughts on The Last Jedi?
Like I said, I don't know where they go from here. I really don't, because they kind of let it off with a little kid being, like exhibiting force powers, but being, like the spark of the
was
rebellion.
Very well. You notice he draws the broom handle
just barely,
just a tiny
subtle.
bit. And you're like, maybe there's hope for.
Yeah. And that was the whole point. And I was like, I don't know where they go from here.
And keep in mind, they sent out the distress call, and nobody showed up.
Nobody showed up. Yeah, people got the call and heard it, and were like, So
we're good. Thanks.
We're good. Yeah,
have a good time.
We've been doing this a long time.
So they're gonna have to address that.
Yeah.
Is
there going to be
episode 9.
How long can this fucking rebellion go on? To the point of.
Let's put it this way: the current rebellion fits on the Falcon.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole rebellion, at least the core rebellion. There may be sympathizers and other systems in the Outer Rim.
Yeah,
and
I've seen the schematics. The Falcon ain't that big.
Yeah.
It's a freighter, but it ain't that big.
You can cram in maybe 6 people tops in the smuggling compartments, but beyond that, it's
it's got a little bit of a cargo hold, and there's you can stack people, but I mean you're not fitting 5,000 people on the Falcon at all.
And we had a nice maybe 1 to 1.5 minute scene with Maz Kanata.
Yeah.
They popped her in there. One of my favorite characters from Force Awakens. At least favorite new characters.
Yeah, what the fuck was she fighting?
I think she said something about
it was a union dispute, which I thought that was hilarious as well.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I would like to know where you are, because your place that had been there for what, millennia?
Yeah,
it was destroyed by the First Order.
Yeah, she probably just rebuilt it.
I'm sure she's doing fine wherever she is. Yep. She seems pretty wily and
we got a new character in Rose.
Kelly
Marie Tran,
a love interest for
that was a nice twist because
for Finn there.
Well, they kind of that kind of echoed the old trilogy, because in the beginning, like in the first 2 movies, it was like, oh, who is Leia going to end up with? Is it Luke or is it Han? Or is it Luke or is it Han? And this one, Finn's whole thing was Rey, and this other girl's like, I like you, and she kissed him, and it was like, oh, what the fuck do I do now?
I'm glad they didn't try to put Finn with Rey, because it would have been too expected.
Yeah.
Why can't 2 attractive young people just be good friends? Yeah. And they are.
Yeah.
And that's good. Now, have you noticed Rey does have potentially a little bit of a suitor happening? Poe. That end scene there where they meet?
Yeah.
Poe, Rey.
I was like,
I almost
holy shit, they haven't met yet.
That's right. And I almost like he's about to say, how you doing?
Yeah.
Because, there's a little something there. So I hope they explore that in episode 9.
Yeah.
The question is, we don't have a big baddie left. We have a medium tending towards large baddie in Kylo Ren.
Yep.
Conflicted, killed Snoke. He basically, strike me down, and and he struck him down.
Yeah.
And
that's how you advance.
That's how Sith do.
Yeah.
You think I am all powerful. I cannot be, boink. Oh, Yeah, didn't see that coming, did you, bitch?
Yeah, lightsaber to your sternum ain't gonna do you too good.
Yeah, and and he must have been awfully thin down there because the lightsaber shooting straight out just took him in half.
Yeah, he probably. Yeah,
He's like, "Hey, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
But does it julienne fry? It does.
Can it core apple?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't know.
What happened? The girl killed Snoke. Nice cover.
Nice cover. Yeah.
Nice cover there.
I like, man. It's so funny when all the marketing for Force Awakens came out. I was like, oh, this villain is terrible. This Kylo Ren thing is terrible. It's a knockoff Darth Vader. It's terrible. Movie comes out and I'm like, oh wow, the layers on this thing.
Right,
is really
he's a real person. He's not just a guy like, I am evil, I will do the thing.
Yeah, I'm evil for no reason.
Exactly. He's conflicted. He's got temper issues.
We know that.
We've got it again in this film where he smashes the helmet. So apparently he is shedding. He's like, screw the helmet thing. I don't have my granddaddy issues anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be me.
Yeah.
No helmet shit. Take off that stupid helmet.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Although his voice does sound kind of evil and cool when he has the helmet on.
Yeah, it's a really cool
But
thing.
that's just him like, I want to be a Darth Vader too. I got my own mask.
And in this movie, he's so fucked up. Like he doesn't know which way he's coming or going, and it's amazing.
His anger makes him do stupid things.
Right, but
the rebellion survived because he had a hard-on for killing his uncle.
Yeah.
End of story. I mean, the rebellion would be destroyed if they had just gone in as soon as the hole was blown.
Yep.
It would have been over.
Yep.
But no.
No. He had to deal with his issues.
Exactly.
And the cool, like, Rashomon of what actually happened between the two of them. It's like, he tried. He
was going to kill him, but then he said no. It was a fleeting impulse. And then Kylo said, "Oh hell, he's gonna."
Because even Yoda even says it in this one. Luke always had a problem with where he was and what he was doing. He was a little impulsive all the time, and he was like, "Fuck, I don't know what to do. I'm feeling all the
something like not what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not present, not at the task at hand.
What you are doing. Yeah,
exactly.
Always to the future you look and he's standing there, and he was gonna do it, and that was a fucked up scene, man. Because they shot it a bunch of different ways.
And I tell you, some of the descriptions of the Force and some of the mythos around what it is and how you use it came closer to me thinking of it as a religion than ever before. It became very spiritual in this film.
Yeah.
It was something where I'm like, yeah, this is...
And it's almost to the point that they're deconstructing it. Like, it's not about this. It's not about that. It's just...
Right.
It's just... It's everything. And it's everything being one. And
I came away with the opinion that even if you're quote-unquote not Force sensitive, anybody can use the Force if they train for it.
Right, you're part of the Force. That's what all it is.
Which makes me wonder, why the hell are the Jedi all but extinct? Because if you could just train yourself to use this power that's just out there, not within you, you're not a mutant or you got hit by lightning or bitten by a radioactive spider, you can just utilize this universal force with, to bring it in and channel it within you. Holy crap. If that was a real thing in this world, there'd be people force choking, Another road rage incident today is 42 people were force choked on I-85 North.
It comes down to, innate ability and training. I mean, like I said, I have the ability to play musical instruments, but I also had to train. I also had to learn how to do it and do it a lot.
Well,
I didn't just
pick
it up.
And also remember, I don't believe it. That is why you fail.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, yeah, sure, Force. All right, I'm trying to choke you. Nope, it's not working. Yeah. Well, guess it's bullshit. Well, it's more than that. So, but I got to say, man, if I had experienced the entire Star Wars universe as a grown adult and didn't have that childhood attachment to A New Hope, I would throw this one probably under A New Hope at position 2.
Yeah.
I mean, but damn, Empire's good. I
mean, this is good, I think, because of what came before. You know, it builds so much, and it takes
they've built the universe
mythos.
nicely.
Right. It takes it uses so much of the universe so well that's why it's so good, I think, you know. So
it's a home run for me. On a 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 9 and a fraction.
Yeah.
I mean
9 point, 9.5.
I mean,
easy.
Pretty good. I'm definitely going to see it again at least once or twice or 10 times more in the theater.
Yeah, we're going again on Sunday.
Yeah, there you go. And I hope it holds up for me. I mean, obviously the oh my god, shit your pants moments will be somewhat, muted. But you know what? There's 40 or 50 films that I love that I continue to watch, knowing full well what's going to happen, and I love it.
There are episodes of Doctor Who that still make me cry, even though I know what's coming. And because I know what's coming, they're just... Every time Amy Pond says, and you missed my wedding, I mean, I'm a wreck. And so this is going to... I think it's going to hold up. I think this one's going to hold up.
Yeah, and before seeing this, the only review that I looked at just the headline of said, Rian Johnson has probably created the best Star Wars film ever. And I went... Ooh, okay, not bad.
What the only headlines I saw were basically, they've never he's done stuff they've never done before. Basically, it's not formula; it's completely its own thing, and I agree for sure.
I'd say 90% its own thing. He had to probably make some concessions to the arc that was established for the trilogy before he came on.
The style,
and some of the tropes and styles that you get in Star Wars, although they were kind of pushed in places.
Yeah.
I mean, for Rey to actually, get on the Millennium Falcon, get dropped off and take a life pod into Snoke's ship, if she just did that, you'd be like, that's kind of weak-ass writing. So they developed the connection between Rey and Kylo, and the only way they could really do that is to do the, reaching out with the Force and stuff like that. And then we find out, it was I that connected your mind.
Which makes sense.
I'm like, okay, Snoke, you're kind of a dick. I'm glad you're, I mean, he still could be Darth Plagueis.
I still would love to find out who he is.
Yeah, like what's his backstory?
Where did he come from?
I mean, we already found out that Rey's parents were nobody, and apparently Snoke is, with a name like Snoke. I mean, how interesting can your past be?
He's a powerful Force user, so he has to have some kind of
I
backstory.
know. Oh, God, Snoke, just name things better, people. Just name them better. At least he didn't call him like Darth Snoke or, Darth Bad Guy or whatever. Just, So we have Force ghosts in the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
And in all but one case, they were light side. And technically, the exception is kind of light side in that Anakin returned as Anakin after revealing his goodness.
Yeah.
He went back to the light side at the very end and turned out to be Darth Nice Guy. So he got to come back, apparently as he was when he was younger. How that works, I don't know. Thank you, George Lucas, for that. Thanks for retconning Jedi, making the film even less appealing to me. All right, I'm okay.
Sebastian Shaw is Anakin Skywalker.
He is.
So
always will be. So I'm wondering, we're hopefully going to get, almost definitely going to get Luke as a Force ghost. Could we get Snoke as a Force ghost? I don't know. He was obviously powerful in the Force. Very powerful. So is it a matter of your power in the Force and you can become a Force ghost? Or is it really a feature that only is offered to, or is only available or able to happen with people who follow the light side? Is it one of the trade-offs where...
I think if you're going canon, it was basically Qui-Gon is the one who figured it out. Like, he's the first one.
dropped so clumsily.
Yeah.
You know, I have, what a Yoda. I have some. I can't do the Yoda voice. Whatever. Of an old friend who has.
Well, they had to get it in there somewhere, but I don't know. My only thought about that is, to what end? Like, I can totally Mark Hamill. There's no doubt in my mind Mark Hamill's coming back. There's no doubt in my mind.
All right.
And as an advisor to Rey.
Now here's the thing.
What would be the point of Snoke coming back?
Maybe to torment Kylo Ren,
Make
to
him
try
crazier. Whoa, that would be insane.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That would be, because pretty much, I mean, he didn't see it coming, so maybe if he comes back, Kylo can go, Rey, you didn't see her doing that. She did that to you. Maybe he doesn't know who did that to him, because he was pretty much gone before they started fighting together or any,
True.
So Kylo go, we've got to get the girl. Yes, Snoke. We'll get the girl because of what.
Imagine, he just makes him crazier and crazier.
Exactly, tormenting him.
That's really
would be
interesting.
Good. This is how I would write episode 9. Yeah. Give me a call, Rian Johnson. Now, another thing happened with our Force Ghosts that I was very interesting. At no point in any of the other films do Force Ghosts make anything happen. They talk.
Right.
Yoda summoned a big-ass lightning bolt and killed the Jedi tree and those absolutely 50 Shades of boring Jedi books.
Did you notice, though?
Yeah.
The books are on the Millennium Falcon.
I know. When Finn opened the drawer, they were sitting there.
He was picking something else up, and it was like, those are the books.
So I'm wondering if those books were not as worthless and not consequential as Yoda made them seem to be.
Or did Yoda do that? Did he move them to the Falcon, or was it Luke?
Or did the whole thing even happen? Did Yoda mess with his head and use it as a release, like let it go?
Yeah.
Just
I don't know.
Like with Rey, your past is holding you back.
Yep.
Holding you back. His past with Kylo holding him back. Always looking towards the past.
Yeah.
Never where you are and the future.
Yep.
It's all so. When we're on the subject of Force Ghosts, I have a theory that one character is going to come back as a as a Force Ghost. Okay? Because they're definitely dead. Remember the Porg that was looking very mournfully at Chewie?
Yep.
I have a feeling the Force Ghost that's going to come back is...
Medication time. Medication time.
We ran out of time. I will tell you, December 2019.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Beni Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lona. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard and Fine. Happy beeps. Happy beeps. Our intro music is written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Shack Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen, watch on YouTube, listen on SoundCloud, stream us on Stitcher, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or email us, comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
LOZ!
Audio Primate.